Hello, happy Wednesday, my savvy done-for-you service providers, scaling to 10K months. I am so excited to be here. This is going to be a great conversation. We are talking about the difference between selling a $200 offer and a 2K offer and how you can sell at any price point. This is a conversation I've had with multiple people recently, so I wanted to bring it to the group. But first, happy May. Can you believe it? It's May. I hope y'all are having a good week. We had a really fun weekend last weekend. My sister and my mom were here, and we went with them and three of my aunts to go see Beautiful. It's the Carole King Broadway show. So it was downtown Charleston at the Dock Street Theater, and oh my gosh, like I can't believe people can sing and dance like that, because it was just so fun. And we were up dancing at the end, and I stayed up way past my bedtime, and it was just a really fun experience. So that's just fun to share as we're hopping in. Also, another housekeeping piece before we jump in. This group is for y'all. I want y'all to be able to promote yourself. I want you to be able to connect with other business owners. So be sure to promote yourself. And if you're not, send me a DM, why not? Because I would really be interested to know if there's something I can do to make this group feel a little more like you want to post here. We have a couple posts go out every week, maybe Tuesdays and Saturdays, about hey, post on this thread, but you can do it anytime. So if you don't feel comfortable posting in the group, or you haven't been and you want to, DM me and let me know, if there's, just give me some feedback. If there's anything I could do on my end to really support getting people to post in the group more, because this is a great place for people to connect. And a fun win, we had a 23K cash month in April. So business is good. In April alone, we had 3 one-to-one renewals. We signed a new client, just started with her today. That's just really fun. So I know kind of last week we talked a lot about businesses closing their doors and all of that. And so just want to be the social proof that business is good and things can be really fucking good. And so let's just normalize that. And give just to give proof that you can charge low ticket and high ticket. So, you can turn a low ticket offer into high ticket. So as we get into this conversation today, I just wanted to share a few of my wins. So when I went from bookkeeping to one-to-one coaching, I had 4 bookkeeping clients that I turned into $132,000. So as we're having this conversation, you're like, oh, I can't turn a low ticket offer into high ticket. You totally can. And that's the data and the numbers to show you. And that's 132K and counting, because a couple of those people are still working with me. They keep renewing. And so that was just from 4 bookkeeping clients. 3 of them were $500. 1 of them was $800. And it's turned into 132K of just high ticket coaching. That doesn't even count the bookkeeping. So that's a fun example to give you as we're starting this conversation. And another one is, I think I talked about it last week, but we have a client who offers a course, and she offered a VIP option. We were just playing around with it. She's had 3, and those are selling at $2,500 each. So that is huge. So that is kind of her lower ticket course that is fed into the higher ticket VIP option. So those are selling at $2,500 each. So that's just really fun. Wanted to share that. We've got 2 intensives opening in May. So these are week-long coaching sessions. These are for you if you're trying to figure out your high ticket offer, if you're not sure how to repackage your done-for-you services into something that's going to sell at a higher rate and really support someone on a deeper level. Maybe you aren't clear on your messaging. You're not clear on who it's for, why they should hire you, what's the problem awareness you need to create, what you bring to the table, and how to communicate that. Maybe you don't know how to get visible in front of your audience or other audiences. Maybe you don't know the client journey and how to give someone an easy yes. Maybe you don't know, how to navigate objections and how to have that conversation. Maybe you're just not clear about what is a holistic marketing strategy? How do I do this? All of those things, we can kind of find something and pick it for your week-long coaching intensive. This is just where I go deep with you for a week, kind of focus on one thing so that you can walk away at the end of the week and feel really good and solid on that. So we start with a 1-hour call. You have unlimited email support in between, and then we wrap it up with a call. And then you are we're good. So we've got those openings. So I'll put a document below this at the end so that you can check that out, and we can have a best fit call. If you're not sure if it's the right fit, we can kind of talk about what we're going to work on. So those are opening up It's my creating 10K monthly reoccurring revenue intensive. So that's that. So now we're going to dive into thinking you can't sell a $2,000 a month container if you can't sell $200 a month. And this is like a conversation I want to bring because I know for the people I've talked to and had this conversation with, like they had a dream on their heart. And if you're here, you have a dream on your heart, I'm sure it's not just about the money. Like, yes, we want to make money, but most of us like want to do it in a way that feels good, that's fun, that really shows our skills, that really lights us up. Like, it's not just like, let me clock in and let me clock out and let me just make some money. Like, most of us just have this thing on our heart. Maybe as a done for you service provider, we're like, this has been great and I really want to support people like this. Like, I get really lit up about doing this, and it's a deeper connection. It's a deeper, touch for my people. It's a higher ticket. So how do we do that? And it's just going to change the community more. Like, when we have more money in our pockets as women, we are the ones making changes. Like, we are the ones spending on teacher gifts and contributing to schools and contributing to the environment and doing charitable giving and, shopping local. Like, we are the ones that make really great change. So this is why I'm so deeply committed and wanting to connect with people to do this, to make this pivot, because I know just when people are happier and loving what they're doing and have more money, like, everything just gets better. Like, it just makes everything easier. It's like the catalyst for the change and the small ripples. So this is why I want to talk about this. Like, if there's something bigger on your heart that you want to offer, a higher ticket item, like, let's get that selling for you. So if you have questions, if you join live or catch the replay, be sure to ask your questions and get those answered. I will always double check, even if it's on the replay, because I know most people can't make this time live. So be sure, if you're watching the replay, like, ask me your questions. So we are going to talk about this. And I've talked to, like I said, many people about this same conversation recently, and just the mindset that they're in of, well, my $200 offer isn't selling. So like, how the hell am I going to sell $2,000? And the mindset of this is just so toxic. Like, I want to start here because I have seen so many business owners who had this mentality. And this is really like the number one problem we need to solve, is kind of their mindset around this. Like, your brain is trying to keep you safe. It doesn't feel safe to like go out on a limb and offer a higher ticket or make something that's like thousands of dollars, and it feels wildly uncomfortable to try to like sell that, or what would I even do with that much money, or what could I even provide that would, be worth that amount of money. Like, it's so uncomfortable for our brains to even think about making like $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, even $5,000 a month. So many of my clients, when they start with me, like 5,000 is just kind of their number, which when you think about for a year, 60,000, like, that is like kind of a normal salary for a lot of people. So that's just kind of like a normal thing here. So it's just that our brains are just like, whoa, this feels wildly unsafe. It's more than I've ever charged before. A lot of stuff gets kicked up. So let's just talk about this, and we'll talk about why it's actually, I think, easier to sell like a $2,000 offer than a $200 offer. It's just a little more straightforward to me. So with a $200 offer, you're generally like casting a really wide net. You're trying to appeal to the masses. You're trying to appeal to so many people, and you are appealing to people who want to get like the cheapest person in the door. Price is kind of their number one factor that they are making a decision on. It's not about finding like the best fit or the right fit. Like, they're literally like, who can do this for the cheapest amount? So you're having to cast like a really wide net. You're letting people through the door who really aren't that discerning. They're really just looking at price. So with high ticket, you're really like specializing and differentiating yourself. You're not just trying to be the low price leader. Like, you get to really step into your power and like be who you are. It's not just like casting the wide net. It's like, I am so specific about what I do and who I support. And for me, that just makes messaging so much easier. It makes talking to your best fit client so much easier, rather than just being like, not spray and pray, but like, you get what I'm saying. Like, and when I say it's easier to sell a $2,000 offer than a $200 offer, it's easier in that like, you take the same actions, and we'll talk about those later on, but your messaging does need to be so much more dialed in. Like, it's not just the easy switch that like a done for you service provider pivoting to done with you thinks that it's going to be. They're like, oh, I sold my, web design services like super fast, or, oh, I just opened spots as an online social media manager and I booked spots. Or even people in the health and wellness, like, oh, I just charge like a, hourly rate at this rate, or I did trainings that were like $35 a month or whatever. It's like those spots filled quickly, and then they think that the done with you or the higher ticket is going to sell just as fast, and it can sell just as fast, but you have to go about it kind of like totally different with your messaging. So your messaging really needs to be like creating problem awareness, why you are the one that they need to hire, all the like things that we just don't have to do when it's very just like, I'm selling bookkeeping and I have a spot open, who wants it? Like, we have to be so much more on point with our messaging and so much more clear than, just with a low ticket. So let's see, where was I with my notes? So with either one, even with a, high ticket or low ticket, a watered down message really doesn't perform as well, regardless of what you're selling. But high ticket does mean that like you really need to be like locked in with your messaging. You need to know your potential clients like the back of your hand. You need to know what their fears are. What do they want? Like, you have to speak to that early and often, and even educating them about what you do and why it's important for them to hire you. Whereas with the low ticket offer, people probably already know what you offer. It's, social media support. It is doing Canva graphics. It's, whatever virtual assistant task that you're going to do, or bookkeeping. We enter the numbers, we send reports. Like, they don't really have to learn about that. So with the high ticket, you are like getting your messaging, like part of it is educating. So let's see. So when you're speaking to like a right fit client with your high ticket offer, you really get to be so much more specific in your content. It feels like easier in my mind, because it's like, I'm not trying to appeal to like 5,000 people. Like, I'm just trying, I just want 5 people to appeal to, like it gets to kind of take the pressure off. And that's another reason it's easier to sell a 2K offer, rather than a $200 offer, is because you just literally need less people. Like, with my one-to-one spots, I just have a certain amount of spots, and when those are full, it's done. So I don't need to worry about my reels going viral. I don't need to have a huge audience, because like I stay pretty much full all of the time with a tiny audience. Whereas like with bookkeeping, we just need a bigger audience if we're going to keep all of these spots full all the time to make like $8,000 a month. So that's just something to consider. And with my 6-figure switch, I told you I converted 4 bookkeeping clients into 132K and counting. And that's just fucking amazing. Like, I don't know many people who can say that they've done that. We've been like, yeah, I turned this, $500 client into $52,000 and counting. And that's a person that like still renews with me that I love working with. And so it's also, I did a training last year about how I made $239K with a small audience. And it's because of this. It's because of having an offer, creating a funnel that can take you to 6 figures. So that's why I love this week-long coaching intensive that I offer, because we can get really like dialed in and granular with your offer, because you need a solid offer if you're going to make 5 figures every month. Like, that is the nucleus of everything. That is the jumping off point for your messaging, for your client journey, for your visibility and holistic marketing strategy. Like, having that is key. And so that's why I love having these week-long coaching sessions, because they so support someone to create their high ticket offer and get really dialed in and like have that like on point. So yeah, that's why like you have to have that in place to be able to sell your $2,000 offer. Like, it sounds so obvious, but it's like you need something that someone wants to pay $2,000 for. Like, that's kind of the crux here. So we're going to talk about like for low ticket and high ticket, the selling actions are the same. And again, we'll talk about those in a minute with the strategy piece, but this is kind of still the mindset piece and understanding like it's easier to sell a $2,000 offer because you just have less spots to fill. You just don't need as big of an audience. You just don't need to appeal to so many people, have so many sales calls, onboard so many people, support so many people every month. Like, it gets to be easier, and your marketing gets to be so much more simple because you just don't need a ton of traffic. So again, like me, I do not have a ton of traffic. I've never had a reel go viral. I think one of my reels the other day had like 90 views, and it's like, I don't fucking care. We just had a 23 cash month in April. Like, everything's good. Like, I don't have to worry about chasing, like, going viral or hacking the algorithm. Like, I can be full and make great money with a tiny audience and only needing to connect and speak to like a certain number of people. So that's it. So both high ticket and low ticket kind of require the same actions in place. And it does require you to solve kind of like the same problems, like your messaging, visibility, marketing. So if your $2,000 offer isn't selling, I'm willing to guess your $200 offer isn't selling either. And that's like the gap, that's the kink in the hose. Like, that's something we need to solve for with either offer. Like, you need to have kind of like a strategy for both of them. I mean, you definitely need to have the strategy, the messaging, the offer, the visibility for both of them. And you also need to know the right problem to solve for both of those. So either way, I'm kind of just like, you can sell a high ticket as easily as you can sell low ticket. You're going to have to problem solve either way. So you might as well sell the high ticket offer. Like, if you're taking the actions anyway, if you're doing all this, like, just fucking make some good money while you're doing it. That's kind of my take on it, but you can decide for yourself. And it can just be easier to problem solve with a higher ticket because you're not having to deal with like tons of data and tons of information and tons of people coming through the door. You're just like selling to a handful of people and you're problem solving there. So that's kind of the mindset piece and kind of the background I want to give for this. But it's like, really train your brain to realize that like it's actually not any different selling a $2,000 offer as it is $200, and people get really tripped up. And that's kind of like the first piece of work I see necessary with a lot of my one-to-one clients, is just like wrapping their head around like what's possible. Like, if I'm not selling my, this $300 thing, how the fuck am I going to sell this? And it's like, well, it's actually just the same. And whatever problem you're having not selling your $300 offer, we're going to have to solve for that anyway. So let's just make it high ticket. So that is my mindset piece. We will move on to the strategy piece, because that is like the fun, juicy part that the mindset part is huge. Like, I do not want to discount that, because that's like the first thing to navigate. You can have all these strategy things in place, but if your mindset is in the toilet with like what you think is possible and what you think is harder or easier, none of the strategy shit's going to work. So let's just normalize that. And that's why the mindset piece is so important. And if you are not on board with that, if your mindset is in the toilet, reach out to me. Let's do a free coaching call, because I want you to get so sold and so like on board with the fact that like it's just literally the same. Like, it doesn't have to be a thing, because all the strategy is not going to matter if your brain won't let you believe that it's just as easier. So, okay, whether you're selling $200 or $2,000 offers, you're going to need to take these same actions. You need a holistic marketing strategy. And if you're selling low ticket, you do need a much bigger audience. But the fundamental pieces of both, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got like 5 fundamental pieces that we're going to go through. The first thing, I will say it again, I mentioned it before, you need a badass offer where your skills shine and where you can support the shit out of your clients. Like, I get really like fired up about this one, so I start cussing a little bit more, but like, this is huge. It's 2024. You cannot copy and paste what someone else did to make money these days. You can try, but it's probably not going to land. You can follow me and be like, okay, I post as many times as she does. I send emails like she does. I go live like she does. I do this, this, and this. But like, you can't copy and paste someone's offer and someone's strategy. It's just not going to work for you like it did for them. And that is why I'm like so sold on this like week-long coaching session and really supporting you to figure out what you need to do. Like, and we're not creating something just for the sake of being different and the sake of like reworking the wheel and creating something new. But this is really where business gets so easy, is when you're doing what lights you up, when you're doing what comes to you naturally that you don't even realize is a thing. You're like, oh yeah, that's so easy. And it's like, well, tons of other people don't think that's easy. So like, that's something that we need to like bring to the table. So it's just so important to really get sold on you and why you are the person. And when you are offering a service that really speaks to your skills and why it makes it so much easier to repackage that into a new offer that you can sell high ticket. Like, I can sell my one-to-one services because I believe so deeply no one does it like I do. Like, there are tons of business coaches out there, but no one can support you with the data and the numbers like I do. And there's tons of bookkeepers and advisors out there, but no one can support you with the coaching mindset, the business strategy, the visibility, the getting uncomfortable, all that shit like I do. Like, I am this unicorn that I bring to the table. Like, my coaching, there's tons of coaches out there, there's tons of advisors out there, there's tons of bookkeepers out there. So it's not like I totally invented something new, but what I bring to the table and how I repackage my skills and how they bring that into my messaging is so different. Like, I'm a done for you service provider who's literally made hundreds of thousands of dollars from pivoting from done for you to done with you. And so that's what I'm helping my clients to do. Like, that's what I'm bringing to the table that so many coaches haven't done. Like, they haven't done this like I have. They haven't walked the walk and talked the talk like I do. So that's just kind of an example of like speaking to your skills, repackaging those into a badass, offer. I love my business. I love how I support my clients. Like, every day I'm just like, things are really fucking good. Like, things get to be good. It gets to be this good. How much more good can I let in? And so that's because I've like built an offer that I love. When I first started doing this, I very much took a course. It was very masculine. They told you what to do, how to do it, take, payment over the phone, blah, blah, blah. And it just like did not sit with me right. And so working with my own one-to-one coach, I really created an offer that is me and speaks to how I want to work with people and speaks to my skills and my messaging. So that's just something that like business gets to be so much easier, yes, in terms of clients and cash, because you're really speaking to your skills and what you love. And it sets you up for long term because you fucking love what you do. Like, it's not like, oh, let me copy someone else's strategy, and then after 2 years, I want to burn the whole thing down because I don't like it. Like, I want to work with business owners who want to stay in business for the long term, who are not just like, oh, this is just like, maybe I'll make some passive income while my kids are small. Like, these are people that like, no, I truly love what I do. I truly love the services I offer, and I want it to be, here for the long term. I want this to be sustainable. I want this to be something that builds and grows years to come. And that's how you do it, is because you're offering something that wasn't like Susie Q online just said, this is how you make money. It's like, I literally created this and pulled all my skills together and support people in a way that feels good for me. Like, I'm such an introvert. I love helping people one-to-one. Like, I love being on my one-to-one calls all day and supporting them in between, because like, I like to go deep with less people. Like, I've never done a course, and I'm not saying I won't ever, but it's like, that just doesn't feel fun for me. Like, I haven't done it yet, but I'm just like, oh no, like, I like going deep with people. And so it's really like, how do you like to operate? If you see that like the way to make money is like one-to-one, but you're like, I really don't want to be on one-to-one calls all day, then like, don't set up your business that way. Don't set up your offer that way. So that is the crux of all of this, and why like I love doing these week-long intensives to really support you to get clear on what that offer is and how you pull all of your skills together. So yes, and I get lots of compliments on how I have such a great data strategy brain, and I'm very compassionate and heart-centered, and most people can't bring those two things together. So it's just like seeing what that thing is for you. Like, seeing, is it just like, I am so organized and I have everything task list oriented and ... Like, I have all these other skills that most people who can do that can't. So just figure out what that is, or get some support. We can hop on a free call and see what we could talk about. But that is the like main strategy piece of all of this. If you're going to sell a $2,000 offer or a $200 offer, make sure it's good. Like, you got to have the goods. And that's why I love supporting done for you service providers, because they do have the goods. They're web designers, they're social media managers, like, they are behind the scenes, bookkeepers, even people in the health and wellness industry, RNs, physician's assistants, PTs, like, all these people have so many skills that people out there doing similar things just don't have. And so we get to take that and repackage it into something really juicy that supports people in a way that they're like, I didn't know this was possible. So that is the first strategy piece. The second strategy piece is having the messaging that speaks to your potential clients, that connects the dots for them and shows them what's possible from hiring you. So messaging is huge. If your offer is not selling, 1, look at your offer. 2, look at your messaging, because you can think your messaging is on point, but if you're not selling, it's probably not on point. Like, those are one of the two things. Like, is your offer something people need and want to buy? And two, how's your messaging around it? So your messaging needs to be on point, especially if you're selling a higher ticket offer. You need to sell someone on why you. Most of us offer something that like a bunch of other people out there kind of do. Like, I don't really need to sell people on business coaching because business coaching has been around for years. I need to sell them on why me as a business coach. So think about your new high ticket offer. Yes, it is unique to you, but it's probably something people can put in a box with a bunch of other people. So we need to educate them and sell them on why you. I just had a call with a new one-on-one client today. It's so fun. And what she does is actually pretty unique. Like, there are not many people here that do what she does. And so her messaging is going to be more around educating people why she's different, why she's not in these boxes. So maybe eventually down the road, there will be more people like her doing what she does. And so at that point, it will be like, okay, I'm not really selling you on like this thing. I'm selling you on why me. But right now, we're just going to need to do more education for people so they can just understand like what she does, because there's not many people doing it. Like 10 years ago, people needed to sell business coaching and what it was and why people need it. And now so many people understand why business coaching is important, why they need it. But like, there's a million business coaches out there. So I'm selling them on why me. So hopefully that makes sense. And that's kind of like a differentiating factor for you. But why do you solve the problem that they have? What experience do you bring to the table? What client results can you speak to? What's possible for them if they hire you? Like, what results can you own? Like, I love speaking to my own results because they're just so personal and I love sharing them. And I love speaking to client results when I can share them like without divulging their information, because it's just showing people what's possible. Like, my clients and I are no different than you. We are literally you. We are parents. We are wives. We are, like, I have some husbands in the group that are working with me. We volunteer at schools. We volunteer at church. Like, we are like you. And so being able to connect that and speak to people is just so important. You need to sell them on you, and you need to create problem awareness in your messaging. And so speaking to what's possible is something I always want to work with my clients and look at their messaging, because we get really good at getting used to things. Like, we get used to maybe making $2,500 a month and working our ass off, and we don't realize that there's a different way. So I always want to speak to what's possible to let people know, like, hey, there's a different way. Like, you may have gotten used to this. This may have become your new normal. Maybe $2,500 a month was super exciting when you started, and now it feels like a drain. It feels like you're paying yourself pennies, and you feel like you're working all the time, and that just feels normal. But it doesn't have to be normal. It doesn't have to be your normal. You can create something that you love, that, supports someone deeper and, has a higher touch and gets paid more, and that can be your new normal. And so really speaking to that in your messaging and bringing that into what's possible is huge. So I feel like there's a couple pieces with the messaging, but it's really like creating the problem awareness, speaking to the problem that they solve, showing them what's possible, like all these things, connecting the dots for them so that your content isn't just like nice. It's like, oh, I need that. Like, that is someone I need to hire because I want that. So that's the second part of the strategy piece. So the third part, regardless of whether you are selling a $200 offer, a $2,000 offer, you need to get visible in front of your audience and in front of other audiences. So even if you are not online, you need to be in front of an audience. Like, I was not online for years with bookkeeping. I still sold out my spots because I was in front of CPAs who referred people. So even if you're not online or you don't have a big social media presence, you still need to be in front of an audience. So now with, the one-to-one coaching that I do, I am in front of my audience and I get in front of other audiences. So if you are online, like literally thinking about, where can you be? I was getting distracted with my nose. So you can even just have a small audience, but you have to show up in front of them. Like, I think, let's see, how many people do we have in this group? 393 members. So that's it. My Instagram it's still probably under 500. So I have a small audience, and we just had a 23K cash month in April. So like, just showing you what's possible even with a small audience, but thinking about showing up in front of them. And this can be really like eye roll, but there's no point in showing, not that there's no point, but you're really kind of wasting your time if you're showing up in front of your audience, but you're saying what everyone else is saying. So like when I'm talking about getting visible in front of your audience and other audiences, I'm talking about speaking your truth. I'm talking about being you. I'm talking about showing people that you can get vulnerable, showing people what you don't like about your industry, like not just for the sake of complaining or being different, but really to like show your perspective and your thought leadership. You can very much be visible and post online, but still be hiding. Like that is something I see with a lot of people. I did it myself for years and I still have to work on it. It's still an edge I am like bumping up against sometimes to like really like show my truth and be seen. So you've just got to be willing to like be seen, and like not from like oversharing from this like look at me or woe is me or just to get attention, like not that at all. And don't share something that doesn't feel in alignment or you don't feel ready to share yet. Like you don't owe anyone anything. So like don't feel that way, but you can still be willing to say an uncomfortable thing that you're like, people may not agree with me. My potential clients may not agree with me. My peers may not agree with me. That girl I went to high school may not agree with me. My parents may not agree with me. Like be okay with all of that, because that is what's going to attract the right people and repel the wrong people. Like being willing to say the thing is an edge that we kind of all have to work. Letting people disagree with us or, like be repelled by it. And even like disagreeing with some of your audience and being like I have a client now who sees people doing something a certain way and she's like, I know there's a better way. Let me show you. And so she has to speak to that. And it doesn't have to be like, I'm a jerk or, we feel like a bitch or whatever. It's like, we can just show people that like, this is our thought leadership. So something I talk about a lot is I really don't believe in any kind of like 1, 2, 3 step formula. Like there's so much stuff online selling you like the exact 4 emails to book out your business overnight, or how to make money in your sleep, or, the DM strategy where you never have to get on a free call again or have a best fit call. Like all of that stuff is such bullshit. And I understand people buy it because they are frustrated and they are overwhelmed and they don't know what else to do. And they're just hanging on hopes that this will work, that this one thing will work. And it's just like bullshit. And so that's part of like something I'm always trying to speak to, is that like, don't waste your money on this stuff. Like I know it's shiny marketing. It looks great, but like, this is not the thing that will blow up your business in a good way. And so like, that's kind of an example of like something I want to speak to. I also want to speak to like being a mom and being like, I don't want $1 million business. Like, I mean, I want it to make $1 million at some point, but I'm not just like, I need this business that makes $100 million this year. And, we have a big team and we support tons of people. It's like, I don't want that. And so I want to be an advocate and speak to the people who don't want that too. We want a good business that provides us $20K plus a month, and we can max out our IRA or our 401K or whatever, and we can send our kids to the schools we want, and they can, do extracurricular activities, and we can go on trips and work how we want. Like those are the people I'm speaking to. And in the online space, like I kind of feel like I'm in like the underdog or the minority. It's like, you don't have to want a humongous fucking business. Like you can make great money. So that I'm just giving you examples of kind of like speaking your truth and kind of trying to say things, not trying, but like really just being willing to say things that other people aren't saying, or that you're like thinking, but you're like, oh, I could never say that out loud. And that's when it's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's say it out loud. So the other piece of the visibility is getting in front of other audiences. So just let's talk about strategical things. You could get in front of this Facebook group, post your promos in this group. You could do, an Instagram collaboration. You could get on someone's podcast. You could go to a networking event. Like even in person or offline, you're still able to get in front of other audiences. So just brainstorm that and see like, oh, could I pitch someone to be a guest speaker in their group, or, whatever. Like I'm always trying to have someone in the group, like once a month, get someone else, get some visibility for them. It gets visibility for me in front of their audience. Like I pitch myself on podcasts. So it's like, you're always wanting to do that. And so you can pitch someone and figure out a way to like do a collaboration. So like you host them, they host you, like whatever that looks like. And then just, out in your community, like, hey, I have a business. Like I remember my aunt, she was a big businesswoman. She worked for Merrill Lynch. And then she started her own business with like a farm in Tennessee. And I remember when I first started my bookkeeping business, she was like, just fucking she didn't say that. Just tell everyone you have a business. Like anyone at the grocery store, anyone you see, like tell them you have a business. And it was just such fun advice. It like gave me permission kind of in the beginning to just be like, yeah, I have a business. Here you go. Here's some information about it. Like make it a casual part of your daily life. Like I know as parents, a lot of, people can book clients there. Like I had a client who booked lots of clients just because of like, the kids in their school and their neighborhood, and just people being like, oh, you do that? Cool. I was actually wanting to hire someone for that, but I didn't feel like looking for it online and didn't know who to hire. And now that I met you, like that makes it so much easier. So like just talking about your business, obviously doing it strategically online, and then just even casually in your daily life, like how can you get visible in front of your audience and in front of other audiences. So that is the third one. Let's go to number 4. So the next one is create easy next steps for someone to build and deepen the relationship with you. Like this is huge, whether it's $200 or $2,000. We want an easy next step for them. We want to deepen the relationship. We don't want to ask them to marry us on the first date. We don't want them to, ask them to sign up for a $3,000 offer for 6 months on the first time they meet us. Like maybe some people will do that. I've definitely had people land on my website and hire me for 6 months of coaching, just straight into it. But that's kind of not the norm. That's kind of the outlier. So let's not play to the outliers. Let's play to the people who do need to deepen the relationship with you. They do need some kind of taste of what it's like to work with you. They do need to learn more about you. So let's give them an easy next step. So that is all about building like the client journey, the client ladder, the funnel, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I can totally work on with you in the week-long coaching intensive. Like, okay, here's the end goal. All roads point to this high ticket offer, but what are the steps along the way that is allowing someone to deepen the connection with us? How are we making it easy for them to take that next step? Let's not be like, hey, jump into this right off the bat, sign on the dotted line. Like, yes, some people might do that. And some people like, hey, let me follow your content a little bit. Let me get on your newsletter list. Let me download your freebie. Let me hop on a free call. Like whatever that looks like for you, let's have like a strategic client journey in place so that you can deepen the relationship and build that. Like give them a taste of what it's like to work with you, what it's like to have you in their back pocket, and then give them that easy next step. So again, this is a great topic for week-long coaching sessions. Like I see so many people get really tripped up here and they don't know what that could look like. And so that's just an easy thing that we can work on in that like 1 week. And that's the funnel. Like that's kind of the key, is like having that one funnel, that client journey that you build to 6 figures. That's what I've done. I have not changed my offers. I've tweaked them. My free call has been tweaked. My intensive has been tweaked. My one-to-one coaching has been tweaked. But that is the one funnel I've taken to like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like I don't know at this point exactly what the total that I've made from one-to-one coaching is, but it's multi 6 figures. It's 38 consecutive 5-figure months at this point. Like this one funnel is huge. Like this is like a huge component of your business. And maybe I should have started with this one after the offer, after the messaging. I don't know. They kind of all flow in this way. But having the funnel set up, that's like, I kind of just rinse and repeat this. Like I'm kind of always doing these things and people are popping up at different points in my funnel. Like people are just joining me. They're ready to hire me, like people all along the way. So think about that client journey, that client ladder, and make sure you have that, because that is something that like you can rinse and repeat and not set on autopilot. Like not to say that you can already have a client ladder or journey in place and do one of these intensives if it's not working for you, because we want to see where the kink in the hose is or where's the missing piece. But this is something you can use over and over and just tweak along the way, especially as you change, as your business changes, the people you want to support change, but it can stay the same. So that just kind of makes it easy. The next piece, I think this is the 5th one, is like, know that objections are just a question. They're not necessarily a no. In fact, I would say they aren't a no. They're just someone wanting to have a deeper conversation about what's really going on. So don't make an objection mean no. If someone gives you a no, if someone gives you an empowered no, like definitely take that as a no. But so often I see people take an objection as a no, and it's not the same thing. An objection is like, I don't have the money right now, or I don't have the time right now. Like those to me are questions that someone is being like, how do I find the money right now? How do I find the time right now? If they were like, no, this just isn't the right fit for me, cool. Wish you the best. Like, that is totally fine. And even with like having conversations with people, I'll even ask them, like, if money wasn't an issue, like, would this be the right thing? Because that's just so telling. If they're like, no, it doesn't feel like this is the right thing, which has never happened. But if that were the case, I'd be like, cool, maybe you need a course, or maybe you need whatever. But that's literally never happened. People are always like, yes, this is the thing that I want. This is the thing that would help me. It's the money that I don't know what I would do about that. I know with OBMs and VAs and kind of, bookkeepers, people are more like, it could be the money or it could be the time. Like, I don't know how I'll have the time to onboard you and hire you and train you when I already don't have the time to like do it myself. So it feels really overwhelming to hire you. So when someone has one of those objections, like, yeah, but it's about the money, or yeah, but it's about the time, it's really kind of a question of them being like, how do I find the money? How do I find the time? And it's not your job to be like, literally, this is how you find the money. Literally, you need to go out and do X, Y, Z. Like, that's not the conversation to have. The conversation to have is like, okay, are you able to even give yourself permission for this? Even if you did have the money, like, can you give yourself permission to get support? Can you give yourself permission to trust yourself to bring someone into your business to support you? Like, it's about the money and it's not about the money. So being willing to be that person to sit there with them and like, I totally hear you. This isn't cheap. This does take time. This does take a commitment. Like, what else is coming up there? Because even if they don't hire you, that will only serve you. They will never forget that. I guarantee, I can't guarantee, but most people are probably like, cool, you don't know about the money, you don't know about the time. All right, my door's always open. Like, most people are doing that. So if you're the person who's sitting there and you're like, yeah, tell me more about that. Like, do you feel like you trust yourself? Do you feel like you can give yourself permission for this? Like, even if they don't hire you, they walk away feeling seen, feeling heard. Maybe they'll hire you later on. Maybe they'll refer someone later on. Like, you just never know. It will always serve you, and it gives you market research. It's something you can speak to in your messaging when you're hearing these literal things from your clients. So really being open to like hearing an objection and not making about you, not making about your offer, but seeing it's literally all about the person in front of you. It is all them. Like the Taylor Swift song, hi, it's me. I'm the problem, it's me. And it's like, we aren't the problem. Our offer isn't the problem. Something is going on in their life where they can't give themselves permission to do it, or they don't trust themselves to do it, or they're afraid to do it. Like, go there and let that be the conversation. And that is going to make a huge difference, whether it's $200 or $2,000, because people are still going to have money objections. I had a call with someone one time who was like, this offer, this high ticket offer isn't selling. So I'm only going to market to multi-six-figure businesses because then I won't have an issue with it. And I'm sitting there like, I'm a multi-six-figure business, and I'm a multi-six-figure business because I pay attention to what I buy. It's not like I'm just like, yeah, sure, throwing money around. It's like, just because you're marketing to people who quote unquote have money doesn't mean they're going to buy your thing. Like, so it's not that you have the wrong audience, it's that you need to go deep with the people in front of you, because no one thinks they have the time. No one thinks they have the money. Like, these are all things our brain just does to keep us safe because we're scared, because we don't trust ourselves, all of that shit. So let yourself go there with them and let yourself go deep. So yeah, it's not about you, it's about them. What do they need? What are they not letting themselves have permission to do? What are they afraid of? Be the person that goes there. So let's recap. So the mindset piece is where we started. Like, selling a $2,000 offer is not harder than selling a $200 offer. Like, it might actually be easier. I'm willing to say it's easier. Sometimes it doesn't feel easier because you got to test and tweak and see what's working. But selling a $2,000 offer takes the same actions as $200. Like, you need to attract the right people. You need to attract less people. Your marketing gets to be like so like niche down and detailed and so much more simple. Your client journey can be so simple. You don't need a huge audience. You don't need reels to go fucking viral. You don't need to worry about the algorithm, because people are wanting to find you and crave what you offer in your content. So let it be easier. Like, take the mindset that it's not any different, that I actually can sell $2,000 offers faster than I could a $200 offer. So start there. And then the strategy pieces, let me back up and find them. Okay, so the strategy pieces that for selling an offer that's $2,000 or $200 or any price point, you need all these foundational pieces. They just need to be dialed in if you're selling high ticket. So have a badass offer. That's the first thing. Like, if you're selling something, you got to have the goods, you got to have the offer, you got to have the container, you have it priced in a way that's really going to support someone. So that, again, is something we can work on in the week-long coaching intensive. Number 2, you got to have your messaging on point. So for high ticket, it does need to be more dialed in. It does need to be very more like why you solve the problem they have, creating problem awareness. Like, all of this needs to be so much more detailed and dialed in than if you're just casting a wide net trying to get like the Walmart people who just want the lowest price. Number 3 is get visible in front of your audience and other audiences. And this isn't just like checking things off the list, showing up and posting like everyone else, but this is really speaking to your truth, what you believe to be true, what you believe to be true about the clients you work with, how you solve problems that most people like don't have the same thought leadership you do. Be willing to say the things that might make people uncomfortable. Like, that is huge. So again, I love working with messaging on these intensives because that's sometimes just like one of the simple problems to solve, is that your messaging for your high ticket offer is just like you're trying to use the same messaging that you did for your low ticket or your done for you services, and that ain't gonna fly. So the next one is create next steps for someone to work with you. Create an easy yes. Build that client journey, the client ladder, the funnel that is going to build to 6 figures that you can rinse and repeat. And again, love working with people on intensives with that. It's just such a fun win to see that like play out and see it build momentum and work for them. And then the last one is know that objections are just a question. Like, they're not a no. Empowered no is different than an objection. Empowered no means no, but objection is really just someone being like, I need to feel seen. I need to feel heard. This feels really uncomfortable for me. Like, and you being the one to support them and listen is huge. So that is all I have about the mindset and the strategy piece of it. So that was the recap. So again, this is why I'm opening 2 intensives in May, because we can really do some great work to get your high ticket offer sold. So it's so much easier to fill and sell your high ticket when you have a badass offer. Like, we can recap that. We can go deep on what your done for you services are and how you can repackage them. We can talk about your messaging, what you bring to the table, why what you do is unlike anything anyone else offers. We can talk about your client journey. Like, what does that look like? I was just talking with someone today about that, and there were so many pieces that they hadn't even considered of how to make that an easy thing for this to like roll into something else, and for offers to not cannibalize each other, and, you know, not have them compete, but literally just be like, oh, I see how I hired you for this. It makes so much sense to hire you for this. So like, doing the client journey is something I would love to support you on. And then also like a holistic marketing strategy. Like, I am a big advocate that marketing isn't just one post. It's not just one thing. It's just this whole holistic piece that all flows together so that you're always planting the seeds and people are always popping up ready to buy from you. And it takes the pressure off any one thing. Like, it doesn't make like, oh, this reel needs to go viral or everyone needs to see this and I hope this works. It's literally like, hey, this is just a piece of it. Like, I get to play around with my content. I get to do it in different ways. I get to see what lands, what doesn't, and tweak from there. But it's really this holistic marketing strategy that's going to support you to get in front of your audience and have everything else that we just talked about, like, wrapped up in a holistic marketing strategy, because you need that. Like, you need a holistic marketing strategy to market your client journey, to market the badass, offer that you have. Like, they all feed into each other. And so the holistic marketing strategy is really just kind of like putting it all together, helping someone deepen the relationship with you. How are you showing up online? Where are you posting? When are you posting? What's a sales post? What's value post? What's your quick, easy content to consume? What's your deeper content? Like, how are we creating and building and nurturing those relationships? So I've got the intensive opening up this month. I can't wait to see you on one. Book a best fit call. I'll put the link below about all the details of it. And then you can, if you want to talk about it, I'm totally open and available for that. You can book a call and we can figure out what we're going to go over on your week-long intensive. So happy Wednesday. I will see y'all next week and have a great day.